Hey guys, how's it going? Clifford Stummy, Pop Song Professor here. Welcome to the channel. You guys know what this video is about because you know that it is 21 Pilots Tuesday, and that's, a really, really special time each week for me because I feel like I know you fans in particular. A lot of people watch a lot of the song explanations on my channel, but I feel like because I've done a lot of 21 Pilots songs and I've done particularly several live streams about 21 Pilots, and because I really, really like 21 Pilots, I feel like I know you guys the best of any fans on this channel. So I love making this video every week. It's probably one of my favorite ones to make, apart from the live streams maybe. But this week we are talking about one of my favorite 21 Pilots songs, one of my favorite songs of all time, Holding On To You, at your request. We had a lot of comments for it last week. I don't even think I can begin to count how many comments there were about it, and it, previously on other videos. But I do want to highlight one comment in particular. Jared Weeks' comment, Holding On To You Please, got 183 upvotes, including mine. And all right, well, that's enough votes for me, and that was the most voted for comment too. So we're gonna explain Holding On To You this week. A couple of quick announcements for you. One, the reason there are no books is that I'm moving. So they're over at the house already. We're going to be switching studio locations soon, but for now, it'll be a little bit echoey. Not so great, but we'll work with it. Yeah, and if you want to comment a 21 Pilot song that you really want to hear me explain, and then go and upvote other people's comments, let's see what we can explain next Tuesday. You guys get to decide. The other thing is that if you want to support this channel and get access to some behind-the-scenes podcasts, Patreon is a really cool way to do it. Partner with me, help me make these videos, and there's some pretty sweet perks for you guys, and opportunities for us to go deeper. I want to particularly do some podcasts, taking some of these songs that we talk about in videos, and just really, really getting even further into depth on them. It's hard to really get into super depth in a 10-minute video, but with a 20-minute podcast, can you imagine the good we could do with 21 Pilots? In any case, guys, thanks for considering that. Links in the description. But let's get on to Holding On To You. Now, you've probably watched the Holding On To You music video, and it is crazy. Basically, the whole idea behind this music video is this like contemporary dance that's just fantastic. And the music video starts out with Josh and Tyler. They've got like the plastic paint tarps over them at their instruments, or, Tyler with his voice. So they're just both standing there on some sort of stage, and these contemporary dancers with skeleton paint come up to them and start dancing around them. And they try to grab them and pull them back. Well, Tyler in particular, not so much Josh. And it's just absolutely fantastic art. And I think that the meaning of the music video has something to do very much with the meaning of the lyrics. Essentially, Tyler is plagued by depressing thoughts, evil spirits of depressing thoughts. Maybe the evil spirits in the music video are representative of the depressing thoughts. And they keep him from being who he wants to be and keep him from being free. So they have their dance around him, and he has to try to just survive. It's a huge theme in 21 Pilots songs, and it's probably the reason that 90% of you guys and the rest of the Skeleton Clique watch these videos. They're just amazing. But let's get a little bit deeper into the lyrics themselves. He says, "I'm taking over my body, back in control, no more shoddy. I bet a lot of me was lost. T's uncrossed and I's undotted. I fought it a lot, and it seems a lot like flesh is all I got. Not anymore. Flesh out the door. SWAT." Now, if you've ever been to a concert, you know that he kind of like pauses and then yells SWAT, or lets the audience yell SWAT. It's a really, really cool moment. But here with that flesh, it's probably a reference to the Christian idea of sort of like flesh versus spirit, or just the fact that those kind of represent two different things in Christian theology. Usually the flesh is our bodies. It's what makes us want to sin and do wrong things sometimes. Flesh can also make us want to do healthy, good things like eating or sleeping, but essentially the flesh is the animal side of him that wants to go and be who it wants to be while he's trying to control it and be who he wants to be. He says, "I must have forgot, you can't trust me. I'm open a moment and closed when you show it." So he's open a moment is like he's open to God, perhaps, and then closed when God, shows himself, and then he's like, no, I'm going to do this on my own time. I'm only open when I want to be open. Before you know it, I'm lost at sea, and now that I write and think about it, and the story unfolds, you should take my life, you should take my soul. And so he's like looking back, and it's almost as if though he's looking at his journal, and now that I write and think about it. So it could be his journal in the form of these songs that he writes. And he says, "You should take my life, you should take my soul." So God, take me, please. Now, if we move into the chorus, he says, "You are surrounding all my surroundings, sounding down the mountain range of my left side brain." Left side brain and right side brain are supposed to be analytical thinking and creative thinking, so like language and logic, and then, art and building things, but that's not quite backed up by actual scientific research. It's a little bit more of a myth than it is reality. But when he says left side brain, he is referring to the analytical side and that kind of part of him that thinks things or is trying to fight these fights and trying to like live life right. And so he's saying God's sounding down the mountain range of my left side brain. So he's thinking about God and he's trying to rationalize it and logic through this concept of God, or just trying to experience it, but he's overthinking it. You are surrounding all my surroundings. So the things that are around me, you're around those. You're huge, you're big, you're amazing. And then twisting the kaleidoscope behind both of my eyes. So he's trying to see the world, Tyler is, but God is making him see something slightly different. He's kind of showing him things that he wouldn't have known before. And he says, and I'll be holding on to you. And he's basically saying, God, I want to stick with you because you seem to be all right. In verse 2, we hear, remember the moment, you know exactly where you're going, because the next moment before you know it, time is slowing and it's frozen still, and the windowsill looks really nice, right? So I think that this portion is about suicide. He's looking at the windowsill and thinking about jumping out, and he's telling us, you know that moment, you have felt it too. And if there's ever needed to be any proof that Tyler has had suicidal thoughts, I don't know why these 5 lines here aren't it, which I think makes a lot of what he says even more relatable and even more powerful because he knows what he's talking about from firsthand experience. You think twice about your life, it probably happens at night, right? Now, night is a huge theme in 21 Pilots songs. Night is that time when you're tired and you're kind of maybe a little bit more depressed, you're weaker, and so you're more susceptible to these dark thoughts. But you have to fight them. Fight it, take the pain, ignite it, tie a noose around your mind, loose enough to breathe, fine, and tie it to a tree, tell it, you belong to me, this ain't a noose, this is a leash, and I have news for you, you must obey me. And this is all, this is such a powerful message because I think a lot of times we think that we are just subject to these thoughts that come into our head and we have to just suffer through them and we just have to feel them instead of being able to tell our own minds what to think and what to do. And Tyler is saying, no, you can actually be the master of your own mind. Here's how to do it. Just tell it to shape up and listen to you. Now, it's easier said than done, I think, but the fact that he says that it's possible, I think could give a lot of us hope, and it's given me hope too. I know that there's been times when my mind has gone places that I didn't want it to go, and I've listened to the song, I've listened to this verse in particular and said, no, you're right, there are ways to fight this. And it's been a super powerful encouragement in my life, just hearing this. And so I think you guys know what I'm talking about here. This verse is probably one of the best verses in 21 Pilots history. The next 2 unique parts of the song are Bridge A and Bridge B. In Bridge A, he just says 3 words over and over again, entertain my faith. Now, entertain usually means to help somebody have a good time or something like that. But in this case, entertain means to consider or to possibly, take a second look at. So God, entertain my faith, entertain the thought have the thought and think about the thought and consider the thought of having my faith. Will you please accept my faith? And so he really wants God to accept him and to love him and to take him in. And then Bridge B honestly has always confused me because it feels like a little bit of a departure from the meaning of the rest of the song. Lean with it, rock with it, when are we going to stop with it? Lyrics that mean nothing, we were gifted with thought. And this is definitely a call out to most pop music. And it's also part of the reason that I started this channel because a lot of these songs mean nothing, or we think they mean nothing, and a lot of them do, let's be honest. But there's meaning there. And so Tyler's saying we need to find things that have meaning. We need to ignore the lyrics that mean nothing because we were gifted with thought. We have this gift from God, this ability to think about things, this ability to rationalize and to interact with ideas and to judge them and evaluate them and logic through them. And he says we have this gift, we need to use it. And then is it time to move our feet to an introspective beat? So should we go and do this thinking? Should we separate ourselves from the outside world for a little bit and think about these challenging thoughts that we might have? It ain't the speakers that bump hearts, it's our hearts that make the beat. And so he's saying it's not, don't just listen to music forever. Don't just always be taking things in. Let your heart make the beat. Let your own thinking, your own thoughts, thinking about the things that you feel, let that guide the direction that you go. Don't let other people always be telling you how to think and feel. A lot of times listening to pop music can feel like being told, here's how you feel. A little bit of sadness, lots of happiness. A little bit of anger, lots of happiness. Because they want people to feel happy, because they want them to buy songs, not because they have some deeper message for you. It's really a lot of times a marketing scheme. And Tyler's saying those lyrics that mean nothing, that are just providing you these puffed up feelings, you have to move past them. You have to dig deeper into who you are as a person. It really has a lot to do with the message of car radio, where he talks about turning off the radio, or the radio being stolen from him, and him having to have these thoughts because there was nothing to distract him. And so in the end, Holding On To You is just a memorable, amazing, fantastic, all of those crazy words, song that I just love. There's so much here. Even if Bridge B is a little bit out in left field, it still has a powerful message. I kind of think that it almost could be its own song, but it's still really, really good. Verse 2, though, I think hands down, no, it's a little bit of a fight, but one of my favorite stanzas of all times from 21 Pilots. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about Holding On To You. Which song should we explain next by 21 Pilots? Don't forget to upvote other people's comments, and let's see what happens next 21 Pilots Tuesday. Hope you guys will stick around and show up then. Don't forget to check out Patreon, link in the description. Cool things coming there. I think that's it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Talk to you next time.